Yes, guys, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It is Arsenal News Now, the early edition with me, Cossy. Honestly, I'm here to talk about our first signings, and that could be Albert Sambi Lokonga. A deal is very, very close, and we're going to speak about that. But I also speak about Eduardo Camavinga, who is believed to be high on the list of Arsenal's midfield options, and it gets a little bit confusing, it gets a little bit frustrating. But with transfers, I've told you I'm an expert at transfers. I know what it means to go through a transfer window. So we're gonna speak about that, but I also want us to speak about a little about Andre Silva, who's been linked with Arsenal as a new striker, and I think the situation around Arsenal and strikers is becoming a little bit more and more complicated. So welcome back to the channel, guys. Make sure you smash a like on the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any upload that I do. The video is brought to you by OneXpert, and I've partnered with them for a series of videos throughout this month, and I think and the coming month. So make sure you back with OneXpert. Use promo code Cossy Media. You'll be able to redeem up to $130, but also many prizes to be won on their website. So bet with them and you will not be disappointed. So let us get into it, and we shall start off with our first signing, who is going to be Sambi Lokonga. And then we shall dive into Camavinga and probably end with Andre Silva. So reports from Daily FC yesterday did confirm that Albert Lokonga is expected to sign for Arsenal sometime next week. It's only a matter of time via the Football Terrace, and the journalist with for that information, as you can see in quotes, is HLN in England. Now I was looking at this yesterday, and I was like, is this true? And that is the reason as to why I didn't do this story yesterday. So I tried to gather some more information, and of course, if you can see there, the deal is progressing well for Lokonga, and negotiations are ongoing. Everybody is working to have a successful conclusion to this case. Honestly, this was posted by Sebastian Pedersen, who said Sambi Lokonga attracts interest from several clubs. Anderlecht are confident of the asking price of around £17 million will be made. Lokonga himself prefers a move to Arsenal or Sevilla. Arsenal are expected to return with an improved bid. So a lot has been going on with this deal, and that's why I wanted us to talk about it. The first question is it going to be our first signing? 90% he is going to be our first signing. Yesterday, of course, it corresponds with what we said yesterday in the morning, that Arsenal was closing two deals. That was as per Chris Whitley, and he said the two deals that we are closing were Albert Sambi Lokonga, who would sign for us from Anderlecht, Belgian international, 21 years of age, there in the midfield, and of course the other player would be Ben White. I'll give you an update about Ben White today in the afternoon. But if you think about it, and I said this before, I've said this before, that if you think about all the midfield options we are looking at, I mean, there's so many. The likes of Madison, the likes of Fekir, the likes of Lokonga, the likes of Camavinga, who I'll speak about in the next 2 or 3 minutes. I think Lokonga is the easier deal to do. Yeah, the Yavis Bissouma deal would have been a little bit easier because all the parties are already in consensus, but the money. It's the money and the payment structure. With transfers, and I want to say this, with transfers, there's so many things that determine, what happens in a transfer. First and foremost, think about the price, think about, the wages of a player, then you're going to think about the payment structure. And that is where Arsenal fail at times. It's always about the payment structure. Now, with Anderlecht, you could give them around £7 million up front, and then you give them £10 million in installments, and I think that is what makes this deal a little bit easy. So it's gonna be our first signing, and many reports are indicating that next week I've seen reports saying that Arsenal have agreed terms with the player, and a deal is also very close to being agreed. However, I think why he might be our first signing is the valuation between Arsenal's value and the value of Anderlecht is not very big. So I think that's the only reason. Our first bid was rejected. I told you this. I did report about it. It was around 12.9 million pounds. Of course, 12.9 and 17. I think you're not very far, and I don't hope for a compromise, and I don't want it because honestly, 21 years of age. Look, if we get a compromise and they reduce on that asking price, it's fine. If we don't get a compromise, it's okay as well. I mean, Arsenal should be able to pay at least 17 million pounds for a player. And we've said yesterday, according to 90 Min, Arsenal have been given a huge budget, and we're going to speak about that huge budget because I think our priorities have moved from being 4 to 6. I think we have now almost 6 transfer priorities in this window. So Albert Sambi Lokonga, I don't want many people to turn him down because many people are gonna turn him down. He's not known. He's been playing for Anderlecht, 21 years of age. Many reports still indicate that he's been he will sign Arsenal under the recommendation of Thierry Daniel Henry. Of course, he's an Arsenal legend, and he's seen him with Belgium. They've worked together on the Belgium international team, on the Belgian national team. I think that is where he gets the impression. He's a good player, and one thing I'm gonna say about this still before I leave it is it affects directly. It directly affects the Yavis Bissouma deal. How does it? They play in the same area. You look at he's a CM. Bissouma is a CM or CDM, if you want to call him, that. But like I said, Arsenal looking at it in this way: you sign in Lokonga, or you sign in Bissouma, and in January you lose Partey to Ghana, and you lose Bissouma, to the African Cup of Nations. Your midfield, remains empty. So you'd rather bring in someone who's Belgium, and I would side with Arsenal on this one. But there are also reports from France. The Arsenal have been working very strongly and very hard to sign Eduardo Camavinga behind the scenes. Now, it was around 3.5 weeks ago. That's so far. If you've not been following this channel, I'm speaking in tongues for you. But it was around 3.5 weeks ago or a month ago when we say that Arsenal were working very hard behind the scenes to sign Eduardo Camavinga. And now the story is back. Now look, this is what happens, and let me say this. Yesterday, I think it was around the afternoon, many reports were coming out that Bayern Munich were interested in signing Lokonga, and they were also saying that a deal could be done very soon, but Anderlecht want cash down. So and Bayern were looking at a loan deal, probably taking him out on loan. Of course, they do these things at Bayern. They take a player out on loan, and then they eventually sign him on a permanent deal. Now, look, what happens when a deal is closed? All the deals that you've been doing come back. I don't think Camavinga is gonna sign for us. No, I don't think he is our priority anymore. His price tag is ridiculous. He's a very good player, 19 years of age. 50 million pounds with 1 year left on your contract. That is ridiculous. Arsenal won't do that. But I think for me, it just adds that credibility to the Sambi Lokonga deal. Whenever I've seen this when we were signing Thomas Partey, there was a lot of information, a lot of false rumors around around the likes of Somare, the likes of the likes of Housem Awe. So whenever you're closing in on a deal, there's a lot of information coming in, trying to distract here and there. But I think Sambi Lokonga is gonna be our first signing. So with Eduardo Camavinga, I like him. He's better than honestly, he's better than Lokonga. He would be the better player to play with Thomas Partey in that midfield. He's a very young player. You have a lot of years with him if you sign him on a 5 or 6 year contract. But Arsenal are not looking to pay in excess of 40 million pounds for him, and I don't think we shall pay in excess of 30 million pounds for a midfielder. So, because first and foremost, like Charles Watts has confirmed, we need more than one, and we will sign more than one. So it's either Madison or Lokonga and Fekir. It's going to be more than one midfielder. We are not going to pay 40 million pounds for that deal of Camavinga. So I don't believe it is on. However, the reports are there that we are working so hard behind the scenes. And lastly, what did I want to talk about? Lastly, I think it was Andre Silva. Yes, exactly. So today morning reports have come out, and it's not the first time actually we've been linked with Andre Silva, Frankfurt striker. I think Arsenal are really considering an option for a striker, and the reason we are considering an option for a striker is very easy. I reported yesterday and I said Lacazette and Ed Kedia are both for sale. So Arsenal is holding out for offers. We are listening to offers. Whoever comes in with the right bid for Alexander Lacazette, whoever comes in with the right bid for Edin Ketia, we will be able to sell. And my focus there is Arsenal cannot bring in a new striker if we don't let one go. Actually, two of our strikers go. So it's gonna either be Lacazette, and that is the main. I think is the focal point in our possibility to bring in a striker. I think Patson Daka is gonna sign for Leicester City. Also, Edward is still a little bit available, and then you have Alexander Isak also linked with Arsenal, and now it is Andre Silva. He's a very good player. I mean, you take him at Arsenal, nice striker, but with Arsenal, if you're gonna sign in a striker, it's gonna depend on how Alexander Lacazette's transfer fares out. So that is what I have for you this early morning. I'll be back in the mid-morning with more Arsenal transfer news, back in the afternoon, back in the evening, and of course with the last episode tonight if nothing changes. Love you so much. Make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and I'll speak to you in the next one.